Hello, and welcome to Happy Catastrophe. I'm Candace, and this is the Color the Tarot series. This is our second in the series, and we're going to study the card The Magician this time. Thank you all for joining in this series. If you have not started with the first video, which is the intro and card 0, the Fool, please do go back and start there, because the cards are a path, and they make much more sense going in order when you're first learning them. Here on a coloring channel, we're learning how to color them without for what they are, and using them as a meditative tool and taking the fear out of coloring these images. So last video, let's start there, we did the Fool. And I like to start with this book, and I talk about in the intro video that does use the word witch, but it's more of a journal with journal prompts. And several of you, many of you have joined in the color along and have posted your Fool, colorings of the Fool in any of your tarot coloring books with the hashtag Color the Tarot. And I will be interspersing some of them here, and I will be doing standalone videos with just them in it, showcasing your work. I'm so excited. That's so beautiful, what I've seen so far. So let's recap the Fool really quickly. Remember that what we learned was that the Fool is a card about taking chances. And this book was introduced in the first video. Lovely book, great paper, just wonderful book. You can find it on Amazon. And it is more of a journaling prompt. So let's get to the Fool. Here she is. And we learned that this card is all about taking chances, right? And taking that leap into the unknown, but not doing it foolishly or with headphones on. Trying to take those headphones off. Proceed with caution, but don't be afraid to take chances. And here are journaling prompts. So how did we do? What's pulling you forward? What did you want to be when you were a child? These are just some general questions that are in the vein of the Fool here. What life goals do you still have left to fulfill? And take off the headphones. What's distracting you from fulfilling your goals? So one of the, and I think I revealed this, that I had already been working with the Fool before I filmed the first video, and that I had spent it wanting to do something more with my coloring hobby. Being a Buddhist nun, I'm sort of geared towards service and being in service to others, and I felt like my coloring was servicing me by reducing anxiety and filling me with joy. But how could I also benefit others with it? And I determined that I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I could connect with other people. But I was frightened of doing that. So I stalled and I stalled and I stalled. So for me, thinking about the questions that the images of the Fool put forward and about taking chances and being brave, I just finally did it. And 3 weeks ago, as of filming this video, I started my YouTube channel. And so that was what sort of let me let go of the Fool card and was able to move on, because I've been sort of meditating on this card for quite a while. So how did you all do with that? How were your prompts? How did you, what chance did you take? What step forward did you take? Maybe a goal that you've always had that you hadn't been able to take the challenge yet, and that were willing to. How were you brave? Now, all of these questions I ask you are for your own purposes to meditate on, but if you do feel comfortable with posting them below for the community to see, that's a very brave thing to do, and I would appreciate it very much. I would love to hear how your journey is going. If you want to tell me and no one else, feel free to DM me, and I'll happily respond to that as well. Or if you want to keep it all to yourself, because ultimately this is for you. So in a separate video, I received this book. I purchased it off of Amazon for $12, and I do a full flip through and an extensive review of it. So if you're interested in this book, I now have 4 books with a 5th one on the way, and that will be all I will purchase for coloring the tarot, so that we have options and I can show you different ideas. This one is gorgeous, and I want to color every picture in it. But I wanted to show excuse me, I had to cough there. So I wanted to show you another Fool page that I found in this book, because this book arrived after I filmed the video on the Fool. And this one, and again, just to recap the Fool, this is taking a chance, going off the cliff. And these are barnacle geese, which make their nests on the sides of cliffs. And as soon as the babies are big enough to walk, but not yet fly, they take their first step, which is out of the nest and off the cliff. And they fall and they splat on the ground. And if they survive, they grow up down there on the shoreline. And sort of a test of the fittest. I'm not sure why this evolutionary path happened, but this is a beautiful card. So if you have this book, this is another really symbolic picture with this and with the dogwood flowers around it. Would be really fun to color. So, but I already did my colorings. I have 4 to 5 books, and so I'm choosing 2. A minimum of 2 of each of the cards to color for my meditation practice. And so the one I did was in this book. You saw the Fool. And then I also did this one. And of course, many of us have this book. And this is one of the reasons I started this series, was because people were wanting to color in this, but were afraid to color the tarot, that it was somehow evil. But this is all done in Rosa Gallery watercolors, and then that shiny gold and the shiny gold in the clouds, the white gold, is Kuretake Gansai Tambi Starry Colors watercolors. So this is all done in watercolors. And here, this is like a Maneki Neko, a lucky cat with the paws up. Lulu Mayo doesn't go into detail as to why she chooses these images, because here we have a little critter who's doesn't seem to be walking off a cliff. So what brought her to draw this for the Fool, except maybe he's hoping on luck. He has both his hands up and his eyes closed. His little friends have bags of money, so maybe there's potential here. I did see this as a very hopeful card, and I wanted to make it in sort of the traditional Lucky Cat colors. So in its own way, it is a very hopeful card. And I take sort of the busy background and the busy foreground as being all sorts of opportunities, perhaps. I'm not sure that this picture represents what I think the Fool card means that as well. But I enjoyed coloring it so much, and all the while I was painting this, I was thinking about what the Fool card means, and taking chances and stepping into the unknown. So this was a great meditative practice for me. All right, so we've recapped the Fool. Oh, and I wanted to show you one more. Many of you have this cosmic spirit. Do you know the major arcana of the tarot is in here as well? The Fool is the very first page. So if those of you who are interested in doing a mythographic, here is the Fool there, and its actual jester. Looks like he's coming off, looks like he's part of the nature. He's part of this limb. He's part tree, and he's stepping out to the unknown with his eyes closed. Again, lovely rendition by Fabiana Attanasio, yes. And so this is another option for you. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Magician. Now the Magician is card 2 in the card deck, in the major arcana. The Fool was considered outside of the deck for the longest time because it's more of the launching point. It's more of like, this is where we begin. We just jump in and then boom, card 1. It was later in the deck's history given the number 0, but the Magician is considered the first card in the deck. So let's look at the Magician. And we're going to start with this book because it does give the most information of all the coloring books I have. I keep forgetting I pasted this. There was a mandala here and I put this over it instead because I liked it better. Here is Lisa Sterl's rendition of The Magician. And The Magician is all about transformation and manifestation. So what she says is she chose a Black woman because in this image, this Black woman is inhabiting a space of power historically denied to women of color, yet she is ready to make it her own. So she's the fount of creativity. So I love that. I think that is so powerful and so wonderful. She has chosen to make her young. Traditionally, Magician cards are of an old wizened wizard, and she has chosen to make her young. Because her power comes from potential, she writes, and the adventurous of youth. So it's that youth, fountain of youth inside all of us that gives us our sense of adventure and our willingness to move forward, our bravery. She's strong and she's brave. She is surrounded in nature. So in this rendition, she is harnessing power from outside of herself, from nature, she's pointing a wand straight up to the heavens. So this is where she's getting her creativity and her passion. So it could be from your higher power, from nature, from God, from your belief systems, from something outside of yourself that you feel has unlimited creative potential, and you're drawing that in, your observations of your natural surroundings. And then she's bringing it into herself and she's pointing it back down to the earth. And what Lisa Sterl says is that this is sort of a complete circle here, that she's staying grounded. She's not becoming so lost in her creative endeavors and in her intellectual and creative pursuits that she's just lost. But here she's staying grounded. The Magician is also, like in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, is often portrayed with an altar in front of them and their tools are right there. So they're really focused on these tools. Lisa Sterl has chosen to make this pile of crystals, like crystalline rock, and just put her tools of the trade, which these are all representative of the 4 major suits of the tarot, which is the wand, the cups, the swords, and the coins or pentacles, in nature. So she's really enmeshed in nature. And it's much more of a natural, feminine take on the card. She has the infinity symbol above her, which is saying that her creativity is limitless. So this is the meaning of this, she is saying, is that she is harnessing the cosmic spirit or divine inspiration or the subconscious creativity. She's tapping into that, and she's using the world around her to come up with something creativity, and then she is grounding it. So it's a cycle. So it'd be like us, like getting inspiration when we look at a coloring page, having a palette. Like I've often heard you say, oh, a palette, I looked at it and a palette came to my mind. Or I looked at it and I knew exactly how I wanted to color this. And then manifesting that and coloring it, doing the coloring and seeing what happens. So that's the creative cycle. So this is all about beginning, manifestation, creativity, transformation. That's what the Magician is. The Magician is probably one of the most, quote, magical cards, but it's using your own magic that's within you. Like when we look at a black and white picture and we transform it into something completely different, isn't that a form of alchemy? It's absolutely beautiful. So let's look at what the meditative prompts are suggested in this book this month. Here's one of those mandalas that I covered up the last month, the Fools, but there's a mandala that's here for you to color too if you wish. Okay, so our meditative questions are, and you can feel free to pause this and write these down or take a screenshot. What do you enjoy creating? What do you manifest? What do you want to manifest in your life? Is there anything you're passionate about that you've been neglecting? What area of life do you draw creativity from? So, and up here, this little blurb, she says, the Magician is one of the most exciting cards in the deck, as she embodies so much of what the tarot is about. Are you still discovering your creativity, or has it fallen by the wayside as you deal with the mundanity of life? Remember what it felt like to itch with the burn of potential energy. So, what is something you're passionate about that you haven't done? Do you love diamond painting? And you've got this diamond painting sitting aside that's been niggling at the back of your brain and you haven't gotten to it. Is there a painting that you've been wanting to do? What about working out in the garden? Is there something that you've wanted to bring into being through your creative energies that you have not done so? And what do you want to manifest in your life? Sometimes we go on autopilot, especially if we suffer from it, or suffer. I try to stay away from that word as much as possible, because although we do suffer, we can end our own suffering. But if we experience the pain of going on autopilot because of challenges with our mental health or our physical health, I understand both of those. And if we get quote unquote stuck. So if we're stuck and we're just going through the motions day after day after day, is there anything we can do different today that would break that cycle a bit? Can we tap into something creatively? Sometimes we cannot. Sometimes we're just spent. We have no more spoons. We're tired. Our brains are just white noise. Is there anything outside of ourselves that we can find inspiration from? Can we go outside in nature? Today is the first sunny day that I've had here in my Oregon cabin for quite a long time. And it inspires me to go out and see nature, and then seeing nature inspires me to put beauty down on page. So that's something that really influences my coloring. So do you sing? Do you write music? Do you write poetry? Do you dance? So what is something that you've been neglecting that you'd like to bring back and tap into your creative potential? So let's look. And I will periodically be also putting up pictures in this video of examples of the Magician to help inspire us. Let's look at some examples that we can color. In the mythographic Cosmic Spirit, Fabiana Attanasio interprets the Magician as this. So here we also have looks like a female gendered being. And I'm tempted, I haven't chosen the second one. I've chosen one that I'm going to do, but I haven't chosen the second one, I believe, for this month. This one's really high on the list for me because it's also got the rabbits in it. And it's, it's Easter month. So it's got runes and rabbits. It's got all of the suits are represented here. There's a wand in her hand that's pointing up and her other arm is down. She's got the cups, she's got the coins or pentacles, and she's got the sword. Those are the 4 suits of the tarot. There's runes here, as I said. There's candles, so there's an option for light sources with the moon and stars. You could have a lot of fun with that. She is just, all of this swirly stuff is like the what she's manifesting, the magic around her, and then these flowers. This is just a really, really neat page. So this is high up on my options for what I want to color for the Magician this month. And again, while I'm coloring, I'll be considering these questions of where does my creativity come from, and what have I been putting off doing? What would I like to manifest in my life? Maybe it's not related to creativity. Maybe I want to change something about myself or be doing something more on the regular that I'm not. So this one, yeah, I'm really leaning towards choosing this as one of the pictures. I love mythographics too because I can use my alcohol markers. So let's look at the Kawaii Tarot, which many of us have and love. Okay, so the Magician here is this one. And Lulumeo says, look up, now look down. Ground yourself, but keep an eye on what is coming. Is it time to open yourself up to possibilities? Do you have untapped potential? Something previously hidden could be coming to light. She chose the owl, and I love the way she draws owls with their wings kind of doing strange things. I think that's really creative and beautiful. This is the other one that I'm really considering. Again, here is the wand, the swords, the cups, and the pentacles or coins. I don't know what this is. Wait. Wand, sword, yeah, what is that? Spoon. Because I love to eat. Let's see, there is the journey is kind of signified by this river and these little critters traveling down the river to the stream. And there's got what looks like sakura cherry flowers and lily pads. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful, you could do so much with this. You could make it night, you could make it day, it could be a day owl. So again, I'm really leaning towards doing the Fabiana Attanasio mythographic one and this one. And they would be completely different, wouldn't they? I just can't look at a Lulu Mayo picture without thinking bright colors. So that's one option to color for the magician. Manifesting in your life. And again, I've already picked one, so I'm trying to decide on the second one. The one I've chosen is in this book. And it's this one, the magician. Now, this is Alexis Thompson, and she, let me take you out a little bit. She, the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly, which she says is nature's ultimate magical trick. So this is the new beginnings, hidden potential. Again, what do we want to bring out that has been dormant inside of us? She has magical herbs, she says, including rosemary for purification and lavender and sage for a fresh start. Also healing. Lilies are in bloom, representing the blossoming of ideas coming into fruition. So the four suits are here: cups, coins, or pentacles, the wands, and the swords. They're there on the card. There's these beautiful crystals, which I think that's what sold me on this card, because I love to color crystals. And this card highlights the presence of all the resources required to manifest true intention. So this is an encouragement card. You have all that you need inside of yourself to move on, or to do this next thing that you want to do, or to bring into the world something that you want to. You have what you need. Go back and harness the bravery of the Fool to take that step. And here is reassurance that you have everything you need. If you take the step, transformation will happen. So this is where we are right now on the path. And this is why it's important to start at the beginning, because the cards build on each other. So I definitely am doing this one because I want to do the lilies. I think I see a lot of oranges in this page, oranges and greens and pinks. And so this is one of them I will be doing. And then I'm going to choose either the Kawaii Tarot or the mythographic. All right, so that is our little talk about the magician. I do hope that you found something out of this to meditate on in your colorings. I can't wait to see what you've colored. I do have another tarot coloring book coming, and so when that comes, I'll do a flip through of it, and we'll include that into my options for the next card, which will be, let's look at our core book here. The High Priestess is the next card. So Fool, Magician, High Priestess. So harness the imagery and the energy of the magician. Know that you are brave, full of potential, just like this young, strong Black woman here that's portrayed here. Your creativity is limitless. You have all that you need. You've already been contemplating taking that leap for that the Fool signified, and now it's reassured to you that you have everything you need to make that next step and to bring something into being that maybe has really you've been thinking about, but maybe too afraid to try. I can't wait to see your pictures. If you are watching this video, that means you've done the Fool and now you're working on the Magician. If you have any colored pictures of the Fool or the Magician, please post them with the hashtag Color the Tarot, and I will happily refer them in upcoming videos and throughout the talks. Thank you all for joining us today, and I'll see you in the next one.